Stad? What does stad mean? Is it like Stan? Who's a dad?
If I had known what was about to happen to me, would I have let them take me away? Would I have fought more to stay, instead? I found myself in a new country. I never knew of it before. But I was aware that it was different than the one that I had come from. It began quite suddenly. I was young, and I sensed that those around me, though they seemed to be of similar age, were more anxious and violent. It's like they already had this all happen to them, and I just didn't know about it. I felt alone. There were few of us who huddled together. The rest were rabid. Once, I had a friend, and we shared a path within the enclosure. A much younger and smaller something other started chasing us out of the blue, throwing rocks at us. We ran. I wish I knew to run even further back then. Run, run, run far away, and don't stop running until you see the smoke from the burning car disappear far in the distance. But I couldn't run that far. We were all trapped. Once, some of the others turned on me. And again, I couldn't run away far enough and fast enough. I had to stay. And be miserable in their company. I had to wait it out. Hopeful that things would get better once I was able to escape. Once, it seemed that I had found a way out. I was moved to a new place. I didn't know of this place, but I was aware that it was different than the one that I had come
You
from.
have to come closer.
At first, I thought it was better.
Just
The
curious.
others seemed more self-aware and attentive.
What
But
bus?
there were many more of us. All together,
What?
trapped again. Once, I shared a path with a friend, though as before we couldn't really venture that far. All of a sudden, they pushed me and urged me to run. I didn't understand until I did. Others were throwing chicken periods at us. Why, I don't know. Especially because when I came here, I found out about the great famine that everyone who used to live in this entrapment had experienced. Many tried to escape as a result, dying on their way out. Many died without being able to even try and taste freedom. I thought that surely for a kind that has such a collective memory of trauma, until this day, would be more precious about resources that they consume as food. This type of attack happened often, at almost every dwelling that I have lived in. they would throw chicken periods at us. Once, I was enjoying a leisurely stroll, and a group of others threw a plastic bottle at me. It was filled with fluid, the weight of it hitting my leg. I turned around and growled at them. I was so angry. The shock of experiencing unprovoked violence never ceases to catch me off guard. Though I really should know better. This violence has happened to me so often, and to others whom I love. Once, a bee told me about a violence they had witnessed. In front of their dwelling, a fellow was confronted by the others. In retaliation to a plea for peace, this other bit a chunk of the fellow's arm. A swarm formed to end this violence. This bee has also had chicken periods thrown at them, on numerous previous occasions, as well as rocks. Once, an ant told me that they also had chicken periods thrown at them. And the powers that be, in control of feeding times, shelter, labor distribution, were never much kind to them. I find solace in that this ant was able to secure freedom. It lived in its country of origin for 2 whole years, before dying of cancer. Once, at another dwelling, I had rocks thrown at me by my neighbor. Once, this happened to me again at a different dwelling this time. It seems an attack could occur from others, at any time, in any place, from any direction. It is here in this country that I learnt what do the words depression and anxiety mean. Once, I was galloping on my way to my corner of the enclosure, and a group of others, faster than me and forming one united machine of out-of-control frenzy, approached me from behind and moved in so close they started grabbing and pulling me down into them. I was able to escape, despite them launching into pursuit after me and howling in menacing euphoria. Once, some others inscribed an evil mark on my enclosure. Go home. Oh, how I wish I could have started running right then and there. I sobbed instead, dreaming of one day regaining freedom. Once, I was with my companion friend. The evening was light, the mood was lifted. Another, intoxicated with drugs of euphoria, passed by and called me a parky. Once, those whom I felt close to at the time, with whom I felt safe, well, they threw sticks at me. They thought that it was a funny thing to do. Once, I was awoken in the morning by a violent banging on our dwelling. There was shouting. I was afraid. Some time later I ventured out. A neighboring other pointed out that our dwelling was urinated on. Once, I was in an elated mood because a friend was nice to me. I was on my way to meet with them. I was looking forward to us spending time together. I walked past the feeding trough, and a group of others heckled me for my plumage. Once, actually twice, I was heckled by groups of others, on separate occasions, based on what I sound like. Once, I was on my way to a friend's dwelling, and a group of others from across the way started throwing rocks at me. In the middle of the day, just out of nowhere. They seemed bored, idle on the side of the road. This unprovoked violence was a form of entertainment for them. When I reached my friend's dwelling, I was exclaiming how stunned I was, how worried I was that they left their door wide open. These others could come, attacking, anytime. My friend claimed that this type of thing never happened around where they live. I was attacked less than a kilometer away from their dwelling. Once, my Mew witnessed a group of violent others shove an unsuspecting galloping kind into the open road. They could have been killed. When the kind regained balance, they exclaimed in shock at them. The others threatened to beat them up. Once, I was ill. Walking slowly to my dwelling, late in the evening. My throat burning with pain, I coughed. A passing other exclaimed at me in anger, "You should quit smoking." I've never had a cigarette in my life. Once, in a late summer evening, an other was urinating right outside our dwelling. I came out and told them to stop. They gathered their posse of others and proceeded to throw their trash on me. One of them struck me in the face. My eye turned red, then green, then blue, then purple. I was in shock. My friends barricaded the entrance. The wood was split in half. One of the others smashed through the glass, their knuckles breaking. They were traced by the authorities by their blood, which leaked and trailed behind them for over 3 kilometers. They were underage, so nothing was done to them. They had to have reconstructive surgery on their broken extremity. The authorities pitied them because this other's father had recently passed away. My dad died when I was 11. I never became a violent menace. There was never any justice for the trauma I experienced that night. Sure, they were only piddling. Once, where I live now. Well, actually, it has happened more than once, or twice now. It has happened several times. The others keep banging on my dwelling. At random times in the night. 11 p.m. Midnight. 1 a.m. 3 a.m. 6 a.m. On random nights. I don't know what have I done to deserve this. Why me? Do I have a target on me? Once, I counted that no more than 14 days would pass without me experiencing some kind of violent incident. I have been here for 13 years.
They bop you with their head, they'll kill you.
Once, it will happen again. I am sure of it. It will keep happening until I regain my freedom. I don't know when that'll be. I don't know when I'll be able to escape. But I do know that this is just the tip of the iceberg. If I was a writer, I could one day write about all the violent things that have happened to me while surviving here.
Just don't get a shock yourself. She's over you. She smelled your hand though. Oh honey, there's a bull. Honey, there's a bull.
Yes, I'm surprised he's in there. And calves and all.
Why would he be there though?
No.
Doesn't he have to be neutered or something?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, what the logic is. Be very careful though. Bulls are very dangerous. Honey, we're gonna miss the bus. It's in 4 minutes.